Hello, this is Ralph Kubek of eWorkplace Apps. It's around 58 minutes past the hour. We're supposed to start at the top of the hour, but we're just going to wait a little while for others to join. So I'm going to be on silent and I will rejoin in a couple minutes. Hi, this is Ralph Kubek. I'm back. It's around noon, at least in Central Standard Time, and we're scheduled to start at noon, but we're going to wait 2 or 3 minutes to start. I see many people are beginning to join. And I know when I went in, I was first told to redeploy, go to meeting. So we'll get started in maybe 2 or 3 minutes. We want to respect everyone's time that join. The flip side is we'll give everyone a minute or two to deal with the logistics of go to meeting. So this is Ralph. It's around 1 minute past the hour. I see attendance is quickly growing. And again, we'll wait about another minute and a half, and then we'll get started. Hello. Again, this is Ralph Kubek. We're gonna do a little bit of countdown until my clock turns to 3 minutes past the hour, and then we'll get started. Appreciate everyone joining, and see a few people are joining a little late again. Number one, we're all busy, and at least I had to do some changes or wait for a GoToMeeting to update. So it just turned to 3 past the hour, so we will start. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day in a short week. Hopefully everyone had a great holiday to spend some time with us. A little bit of background is that eWorkplace Apps is the developer of the Acumatica QMS system that has a number of pillars to it. The ability to quarantine test products to make certain they meet their specifications, ensure that a vendor has the proper qualifications, etc. And we are still periodically, about once a quarter, going to run a general webinar on QMS, but based upon feedback, what we're going to begin to do every month is have a session like this focused in on a key feature within the QMS area and or a new feature. And today we're going to talk about vendor evaluation, key performance indicators with regards to vendors. Because with the movement of, or the release of 24R1, we have released a vendor rating module. So what we're going to do today over the next 25 to 30 minutes is to chat a little bit about what we're doing, how we're doing the rating, define key KPIs, how we evaluate vendors, the analytics that we're using, the benefits, and then we'll take a quick look at the product and then do Q&A. Unlike some other sessions, we will not spend a lot of time in the product because there's while a lot of work was done, there's only a few screens and a few processes to look at. So again, I'm Ralph Kubek. I have a number of responsibilities within eWorkplace apps, including sales and relationships. So we wanted to create this, and in some cases, when we do presentation like this, we kind of change from an ERP to something else. So again, pretend we're going to a restaurant. We do a lot of things as it relates to evaluating that restaurant, the quality of food, the taste, the ambulance, the service that were provided, how was the price, did we have value, etc. And a lot of that information is gathered through statistics and surveys on a number of platforms that people use to do that. Similar with manufacturing distributors, when you're dealing with multiple vendors, there's need to be a time where you regularly establish some KPIs and you evaluate them on a consistent basis. So the QMS rating performance module that is part of the core suite, we're doing that just to add value to the core offering, helps begin to establish some KPIs to facilitate the evaluation of vendors. Whether you're a distributor or whether you're a manufacturer, you're all you can be buying some things. And the QMS vendor performance allows you to regularly rate and calculate vendors and their score, and able to begin to proactively help you go through the process of who you should be buying from. From the aspect of analytics, what we have done is so far we've identified 4 key components that most of our clients evaluate vendors on. One of them is price. The second one is quality. How are they doing? And that clearly ties into the statistics that we're gathering from the quality management systems in terms of things that are accepted and rejected, etc. Many people want to evaluate vendors based upon how well they fulfilled an order, right? Percent fill relationship. And then lastly, there's on-time delivery. So those are the 4 key metrics that we have developed some information on, and will be able to provide scorecard information to you. In terms of how the scorecard works, and again, we're going to look at the product for a little bit, but we've identified 4 criteria: the price, the quality, how they're doing in terms of shipping items, in terms of fulfillment, and then on-time delivery. What the user will do, and you'll see this in a second, is you will go in and you will define for each of those criteria what weight you want to provide to each one of those. Our only rule is that it has to total 100%, but you'll be able to make your decision how important price is compared to quality versus on-time delivery. So you will set those items up in a profile that we'll look at in a little bit. Next, what we need to do, and I think I just skipped a slide. Next, what we were going to do when we go into the product is we're going to begin to show you how you rate and evaluate the points related to those items. We then need to track and evaluate vendors. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you how you could look at a stock item for a particular period of time. the system will go through and do some analytics, and you'll see some of those details in a little bit, and produce with you for you a query, right? That's just going to begin to show what the vendor's ranking is, what their new score is, how they scored in each of the 4 critical elements that you're monitoring. Also, in terms of what the past score was. So part of what we've done is we've developed the infrastructure for this, like everything else that we've done. It is part of the Acumatica database. So what we're filling in now is dashboards and analytics, but these are some examples of the things that we have done to date in terms of the top 5 vendors, the poorest 5 vendors, etc., how they're doing. I think here you're going to be working with your IT team and your partner. Once we come out with a scorecard that we believe addresses everyone's needs, someone's going to say, well, since it addresses everyone's need, there's some clutter, there's some information we want. So the system's flexible as it relates to you begin to creating your own scorecards, how you want to review the data. This is all being done because the importance of vendor collaboration. We want a way to begin to provide feedback to vendors on how they're performing. And this is going to allow you to do it not based upon insight, feelings, some basic data, but you'll be able to provide detailed information out of the ERP system. So you're talking about facts. It will give you a reason to potentially, on a quarterly or semi-annual basis, communicate that information to partners. And generally speaking, the more people talk, the more people who understand what someone's looking for and how they're looking for, how they're being evaluated, the better they'll perform. And again, it's a way to begin to proactively engage with vendors and begin to work through and improve the quality of that. With that information, let's take a quick look at the product, and then we're going to go back to the PowerPoint in a second. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change, and people should be seeing, at least it's looking at my alternate system. Now we're looking at an Acumatica screen, and let's go through a couple of the main screens that are here. And again, there's only 3 or 4 that relate to vendor performance. The first piece is this vendor rating capability that we have just talked about. And I clicked on the wrong button. Sorry about that. And for some reason, our system is not working as quickly as it normally does. But as I indicated before, these are the 4 components of the system that we're looking at, or 4 analytics piece. And again, you will go in and decide what these values will be. Our only rule is that they have to determine, they have to add up to 100%. So again, this is how you're going to evaluate and how much credit are they going to be given for each one of those key parameters. Then what the user will do is they will go in and say, we have all those parameters. Now, how do we want to assess those points? So you'll be able to go in, and I'm going to click plus here. So I'm going to take this mark off. And now what I'm going to do in this example is I'm going to say, you know what, for quantity supplied, I'm going to go in and indicate to them, and I need to go back up here, and I'm just going to end up, if it's from 60, they get 30% of their points. But however, in terms of quality, quantity supplied, anywhere between 60% variance and 100%, they're going to get no points. So again, the purpose of this screen is to look at each one of these key attributes, begin to identify the ranges of variance that you have, and then for those ranges, you could define your points. So here for on-time delivery, if they're perfect, it's 100% of the points that we've established. For on-time delivery, if there's a 10% variance, they get 90. If it's a 20% variance, they get 80. And then you can see if it's a 30% variance, they get 70. And if their variance is greater than 30%, they're going to get 0. So again, you first of all go in the system and you say, how do I rate what's the point total, so to speak, for each one of these 4 critical items. And then you're going to go in and you're going to establish, based upon the variation from the target that you'll see when we pull up the analytics screen, how many of those points do you want to assess or provide to that partner for each one of those items. So that's all that is really required for the setup of the module. Now, there's going to be a number of different places where you're going to be able to go in and indicate that you want to reevaluate a vendor. For purposes of this presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the item master file, and I'm going to look at a new tab that's out here that it says vendor rating. What I'm first going to see is here's all the information that we had through the last time, what their new score is, what their previous score was, what their rank is new, and what their previous rank is. Again, you could begin to sort those, etc. But now what you'll do periodically, either from this screen or a number of different screens, you're going to go in and you say, you know what, I want to look at this shell, and I'm going to go all the way back to 2019. So you'll decide that, and again, that's part of your standard operating procedures, philosophy, how far do I want to go? And now I'm going to say for that range, please go through and assess, find out who I bought all of these items from and what the results were. So now the system has gone through and it's found all of the vendors that we have bought this item from for the 4 key components that we've laid out. It has given us that score, again, based upon the setup that we've just done, and it's providing us a new score. We could look at that, and then once we save this, then we're going to just close this down, and now this screen is going to be updated to begin to indicate what their current score is and what their new rank is. So the system is focused on providing that analysis at the item level. There is work being done. So now when you go into purchasing, part of the enhancements are going to be, there's going to be some availability from the purchase order screen to pull up this information, right? The purchase order screen is going to always start with the vendor in terms of Acumatica, but when you get to the line item, they'll be using side panels and other information. You'll be able to see how that vendor rates, and you might make a decision to buy that item from someone else. Again, we are working on scorecards and other items, things that you want to look at, but clearly you're going to begin to want to look at probably, you know, who are, in this case, the vendors that are not doing very well. You begin to slice and dice this information. Also, you'll be able to cube this information to look at, you know, how they are doing for each one of their parts. And then the other part is, if we begin to scroll through, we could also look at the top 10 vendors. So again, the key thing of this was that what we wanted to do was to provide some ability to do vendor rating, begin to create vendor scorecards using the analytics and the information that's within Acumatica. So now that we've looked at the actual screen itself, I'm going to go back and change my screen, and I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. And now that we've taken a quick look at the product, again, the benefits of using the solution is that, you know, now we're going to be basing information decision making based upon facts and detail information. So hopefully we begin to improve our business outcome. Right, you'll begin to know the vendors that provide it for the best price. You'll know the people that are delivering most on time. So parts of purchasing decisions, in certain cases, is based upon whether you're more concerned with speed or price or whatever. You might end up buying it from different vendors based upon what their rating is. Clearly, we're going to alert you, or this information has alerted you to vendors that have problems. So if a vendor scores low and on-time performance, you can begin to work with that vendor. Again, begin to deal with mitigating results. Same thing, while there's a lot of quality information that's coming out of the system from QMS, we'll be able to have some detailed information about how the vendor is performing overall. You'll be able to make some better decisions as it relates to who you should buy from, again, based upon how you determine the appropriateness of each of those individual items that are important to you. Hopefully, we'll be able to allow you to operate in a more efficient way, and then it's going to improve relationships. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag on the screen now. And what we'll do is we'll make certain that when we share this recording with you, it's not coming over. So hold on here. I'm going to stop sharing again. And I'm going to go to the document that is on our website. It's also on the Acumatica marketplace. Clearly, there is an importance of depending upon the actual information. So this is the definition, and we'll make certain that when we send out the recap of this meeting in the recording, we also send out this vendor rating that's going to provide you the detailed information as it relates to what fields are we looking at and what's the formula that we're using to determine price, to determine quality and on-time performance. And then there's some additional information that's provided in terms of what the score and the rating is. So that piece of the puzzle is fairly critical to anyone that is looking at this analysis, right? They're going to want to make certain that they know that where the information is not only coming from, but how are we computing those results. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint because I was unable to drag that item onto the screen. Sometimes we put this in the beginning, but hopefully people know that we have a pretty good relationship with Acumatica. We were, the last 2 years, we have been ISV of the year. We were President's Club the last couple years. And we're also working with some of the other Acumatica OEMs. As you probably know, Acumatica OEMs its product into Germany, into France, and into Australia, New Zealand. So we've actually won some awards there because, again, it's the Acumatica platform, so that we've done pretty well. So I indicated that today's session, unlike others, was going to go about 20-25 minutes to give you an idea of what we've done. Again, I'm going to quickly rechange my screen because I know the importance of the information that we just provided. So let me go back in and change my screen again to show you how we're computing those, the vendor rating and the 4 statistics that we want to use. So a couple questions came in. One of the questions is that how does this get deployed? When is it supported, and how do I acquire this? So it's just part of the standard suite, the core quality service quality management module that we sell for Acumatica. So if you have that, as you update to 24R1, it will just be there for you to use. If you want to acquire it, you need to acquire the core module. We're thinking about doing some repricing and rebundling, but today it requires the core module, and it just gets deployed as a customization. Next question is dashboards. As I indicated, that we are working on improving and coming up with fancier dashboards. Our first goal was to get the nitty-gritty and build the house. And now we're working on the dashboards, right, decorating the house, so that you'll begin to see more as we release the product and we further develop the product. And again, we think a lot of partners and end users are just going to be taking what we provide and creating their own dashboards. There's another question, is currently there is 4 criteria: price, quality, again, shipping performance, and on-time delivery. Will we be adding more? The answer is potentially. We did this based upon some of the past history we have, in terms of the things that we have done as a firm outside of our Acumatica life. So we'll be looking at other things, and it's possible over time that based upon your feedback, we could begin to add additional criteria to this screen. Another question just popped up, and it's one that I need to get answered by our team, and that is as people look at these particular queries, will you be able to begin to go in and modify those and change those? Um, we are looking into that. Clearly, this is a business making decision process, and we are committed to making certain that the application is providing the results as we expect them to. And there's been a question around if we open this up and customers or partners begin to play with the formulas. There's an error in the formula. They make a bad purchasing decision. Uh, what is going to be the ramifications of that? So it's something that some feedback that we have uh, heard about, and we'll just have to monitor that and begin to make some decisions on how that goes. There is a question. How do we calculate the variance? Uh, Here is the formula as it relates to on-time performance, and go through that calculation. So this is not necessarily meant to be number of days late. We will compute that amount. It's really just to say initially right now it's going to let us know how are they late 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 30% of the time. I'll go back to our staff and see in terms of the calculations that we're making, if there's some additional information that we could provide as it relates to the number of days late, etc. But right now it's a calculation to indicate that they're on time 90% of the time, they're on time 80% of the time. It's not necessarily meant to be, they're 6 days late, 7 days late. Clearly, as you look here, it's part of the calculation. And again, I'll go back to our development team and see what are the information they could provide when, these are being executed to do those calculations. There's a question that I probably probably wasn't clear on answering, is that the vendor rating, the vendor performance improvements, or what we're talking about now, has just been added to the core QMS offering. And there's two core QMS offerings, one for distributors and one for manufacturers. So if you're running the distribution edition, you'll get the core for distribution. If you're running manufacturing, you'll get the core for manufacturing. At a high level, that just means that if you get the core for distribution, you don't have the quality testing, et cetera, that would occur on a production order, et cetera, because clearly those items you have not licensed from Acumatica. But this is just part of that core product. So part of the core offering as it relates to that core module, whether in manufacturing or whether in distribution, is going to include or now includes vendor rating. How could we begin to review this? Is that if you're a current user, clearly once you do the upgrade, it will be available. In terms of someone that is just interested in looking this, what you should do is you should contact your partner. We will work with your partner to set up a presentation and go through, in more detail how this product works. As it relates to an analysis of this product, the way that would need to be done is that The license is coming from Acumatica. So the only way you could run, let's just say, core for distribution and look at vendor rating is if you purchase it from Acumatica. Another option would be during the evaluation process. As I think many people know, Acumatica does provide a free 2-user license. On that free 2-user license, you could deploy the QMS module, including vendor rating. You could work with your partner to, do whatever it takes to move your live environment into that 2-user test environment, and then that would be a way of prototyping or running some of these reports off of your actual live database. So the same way you would want to test or experiment with the module before you buy it. It's no different with our QMS product, again, because it is something that's licensed through Acumatica. Does the quality criteria not consider QC orders? The answer is it does. What we're doing is that the QC orders within Acumatica are what you're doing within the core application to determine what's good, what's bad, what's rejected. So it's the results of the QC orders that now have provided us detail of what's been accepted and what's been rejected, and then the analytics are based upon that. So that is, so the criteria, it doesn't consider the criteria of the QC order in terms of producing this. Again, what it's just looking at is, how well they have done based upon the results, right? Knowing what was received and what was accepted. There is still all the QA analysis that's out there that you would be able to look at a particular item, a particular vendor, and look through of the tests that they're providing to you. How are they doing, let's just say, in a hardness test or a softness test or colors. So all the analytics that exist with regards to the quality orders, QC orders for receiving is exactly the same, right? What's good, what's bad, why are we passing, why we're failing. This analytics goes one step above that and is just going to let you know that from a high level, they're providing you quality at a 90% range. So hopefully you understand how these things begin to work in concert with each other. Would everything need to be received on a QC order? Uh, that is a good question. I'm going to write that one down. Um, we're looking at the inventory file, the inventory transaction file, to see what's been accepted and rejected. What I'll just do is work with our developers or understand the people that wrote the scripts to say that if someone is not using a QC order, but in Acumatica, when you receive it, right, you could still begin to enter some information in with regards to received or not and how that information is. So let me look into what happens if QC is not there to see what happens in terms of the calculation we're making for quality. Now, I understand that they're indicating that we have to complete that QC order to get all that testing done. So I understand the question of this being built within the quality module and then being generated off information that the QC order obtains and writes into the database based upon posting. Again, I'll just do some research to find out, if the QC order is still open or it's not posted, or there's an item that is not falling under QC, is what happens to that item for calculation. So I will do some additional research on that. Okay, well, we always promise to keep these on time. Hopefully you found this useful. We do think it's taking part of the next step. When we started our journey with Acumatica and quality, it was some basic blocking and tackling. It was, let's quarantine an item, let's test an item, let's make certain the item is good, let's make certain the item's bad, or to identify where it's bad, begin to have some statistics of, where tests are failing. And then clearly we got involved in more, I'm going to say, the quality assurance area as it relates to things like vendor certification. I think we're going to cover in one of the future meetings, and now vendor rating. So we appreciate you attending over the next day or two. Everyone who attended this session is going to get a copy of the recording. I'll also make certain that you get a copy of this sheet that we're looking at now, which is vendor rating. And as you have additional questions, if you're a customer, clearly you could talk to the account manager, et cetera, from our firm. But probably best to circle those questions back to the partner. We will work with your partner to get you the additional information, and again, take some deep dives and do some specific demos to make certain that this is going to help you in general. So again, I appreciate the time, and we spent about a half hour going through this. I know these sessions are scheduled to be a little longer, but I'm going to give a few people some time back in their day. So thank you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you attending. For those people that use our product, we clearly appreciate you being customers. And we look forward to helping you out, and look forward to chatting with you in some detail about some other new features next month. Everyone have a great day and enjoy this short week. Bye.